Welcome to Planet Halloween. Fiends and monsters.
Creature terrorizes trick-or-treaters. On Halloween, we put on masks and try to wake the dead. Wake the dead.
It had 2 heads and 4 long blue arms.
The Loch Ness Monster.
From outer space.
Eddie just wants to massacre him.
Go on out there and kill them. Wipe them out. All of them. To the very last man. Violence. Brutality.
Trick-or-treaters are all dead. Isn't it beautiful? Take a walk in the cemetery. Get eaten up by cannibals.
Celebrate Halloween.
Love and kisses. Penny, baby.
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Hey, Ballbusters, Bates here with your friend of mine, Ray Mungus. And we're telling the God of Death, not today, on episode 60 of Way of Life Live. How's it going over there in Mungus Land tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good. Mungus Land, that sounds interesting. You think it would be like a Thunderdome or Part 2 Road Warrior? Like how's Mungus Land look exactly?
In my mind, I picture it like one of the abandoned amusement parks from like a fucking Goosebumps novel. So it's pretty lame.
And if you don't by namesake, like just picture like one of those abandoned amusement parks, but just with like humongous sitting in the middle of it with no love whatsoever.
It's like Kincaid's table at a fucking horror convention.
Oh God, how are you today, man?
All right. I feel like I'm fucking dealing with the long night right now. My fucking basement is icy, and I don't even have the AC on. Fucking
It's weird. I'm over warm over here. You know, just killed off my fan, and I'm just like, oh man. You know what? I'm gonna just leave the fan on and let it pick up in the microphone.
I got a hoodie on. I got a blanket on. Fucking, it's cold down here. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I start putting on the AC. It's gonna be like a fucking icebox down here.
You're gonna freeze to death mid-show.
Oh, seriously, fucking,
You're just gonna start here. Icicles start cracking.
Yeah, see fucking penguins doing belly slides behind me. It's gonna be cool.
Nice. I like it.
So, we took another week off last week. That was my fault. I had a bit of stuff to do, appointments to go to, and all kinds of good stuff like that, I guess.
Let's be real here. Let's be real here. What's actually happening is we're trying to plan a big episode 100, and we're stalling as much as possible.
Yeah. I bet you guys are still waiting for that big episode 50, huh?
Yep. Episode 100 is going to be just as epic.
But we did do a live commentary on Friday, which was a lot of fun. That was a that was a fun movie to watch for a live commentary. If you didn't join us, you can definitely watch. You can watch that on our archive. And we watched 1973's classic from Sweden thriller, A Cruel Picture. If you've never heard of it, don't feel bad. Most people haven't, but definitely track that shit down if you haven't seen it. It's a doozy, man. It's got a lot of good stuff going for it, and we talked about most of it during the commentary.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the fact that we were without a third co-host for just about half of the movie, me and Bates here, we already got this down pat. We have a good chemistry together. But when our third guy comes in, it adds a different dynamic to the whole situation. And this episode was no different because it had like the most award-winning quote of the night, and I really think Synapse, if they ever re-release this movie on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, we should get a quote on the cover that says, "I see a dick." That's all you really need to know. I challenge you to go to the archive and watch that commentary because it is a lot of fun and pretty much hilarious. More than that, you need to find this movie and check it out because it is so awesome. Very, very highly recommended.
Yeah, especially if you're a fan of slow motion. There is a lot of it in this movie. There's also a lot of gratuitous sex, so there's a lot of fluff, I guess you would say, in this movie between the slow motion and gratuitous sex.
So, Zack Snyder, if you're listening, this one's for you.
Yeah, thankfully, well, I guess, I don't know if it's thankfully, but, I mean, he doesn't really put gratuitous sex in his films. Maybe he should. Maybe that would make the slow motion more tolerable.
Yeah, but Zack Snyder looks like the type of guy that has a very large 70s porn collection.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know. I don't know why you would think that. I don't know. Maybe you know something I don't.
Have you seen any of his films?
He did Watchmen, right?
He did. That's like one of the few movies that I really enjoy of his.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say I've seen too many of his films. The ones I have seen, they're hard for me to get through. I don't know. Maybe they just don't grab me. But I mean, nothing against the guy. He's got an eye in certain aspects of filmmaking, but just not my kind of filmmaking.
I feel like we're playing good cop, bad cop here, and you're good cop today.
I'm just trying to be civil.
I'm just saying, past episodes have proven what you really think about Zack Snyder. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, the guy's had it rough, all right?
Fair enough.
He's made some less than stellar movies the last couple of years, and now there's a fucking weird cult like stalking him for a movie that probably doesn't exist.
I know they got a sex cult going through some trial, but the what is it? The Justice League Zack Snyder cult?
Yeah.
That's not being under question.
Yeah, but we have gone off the rails a little bit here. Just want to say thank you and welcome to all of our new subscribers on the channel. We got quite an influx. of new subs the last week or two. And, yeah, not entirely sure. Well, we are kind of sure where some of them are coming from, and it's cool regardless. But the rest of them, we're not entirely sure. But thank you. Nonetheless, just means we're going to have to start putting out more content. People are going to make us work more, really? Really?
Good lord. We're gonna have to start making like little horror videos and Lord knows what else. But
well, you know what's cool?
I'll just say
I was gonna say, you know what's cool? I'm still sitting on the first Jason videos. We have not put those out yet from NJ HorrorCon.
That's right. And I'm still sitting on tons and tons of old convention footage and concerts and all sorts of stuff that I just need to rip off tape and put onto my hard drive. And as soon as I get that going, we're gonna have a whole slew of horror content. Maybe some interesting, maybe some not. Who knows?
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess hit that bell and keep an eye out for some fresh content coming soonish. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but
one day.
Yeah. I have most of the first Jason. I have that pretty much cut together. I think I even fucking rendered it. I don't even remember. I gotta go look. But in other news, before we jump into everything, it's been a little while since we had to announce a passing, but it's that time of the week again, and this time we have to offer our love and condolences to the family of Peter Mayhew, otherwise known as the one and only Chewbacca. He passed away last week, right before, I think he passed away May 2nd, like 2 days before May the 4th. So, that was kind of a blow to Star Wars fans. But anyone who had known him knows that he was, on the decline health-wise. So it shouldn't have come as a big, big shock. But, it's still sad regardless. But very cool knowing that we did get to see him one or two more times as Chewbacca before he passed away.
Yeah, I will say that he definitely wore his ailments well. I remember when Force Awakens was about to kick off production, and it was unsure whether or not he'd be participating because his recent health issues and not so recent health issues. But sure enough, he got knee replacement surgery and was basically on the up and up to return as Chewbacca, and that was really awesome. And throughout the years, you'd see him at conventions, and like the dude had a perma-grin on his face all the time. Like he was so happy to be meeting fans and being able to share in the love of Star Wars after all these years. That people still remember the dude, and just the fact that we were able to get him in The Force Awakens. I don't know if he was in if he did any work in Solo or not, but I know he was definitely in Force Awakens. But just the fact that he had that extra opportunity to relive those days once more was great. So, he'd definitely be missed as a longtime fan of the franchise.
Yeah, definitely, man. But as I said, his health had been declining, and I wasn't too surprised when the news came in over my Twitter feed. It just sucks that it happened 2 days before May the 4th. So, it is what it is, rest in peace, and, our condolences to his friends and family. All right. Enough with the sad, depressing death news. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into some horror news here. All right. Friday the 13th Well, that legal battle, yeah, it's ongoing. Sean Cunningham puts in a new appeal. It gets reinstated. What does that mean? Well, it means you're still not getting new movies, not getting new content, not getting new nothing. All right, it's basically a non-news update for the most part, and that's just only gonna upset Friday fans even more. I don't see this ending anytime soon, and the fact is, and we've talked about this multiple times on the show, is that even when it does end, and it will end at some point, I just don't think it's going to be soon. Even when it does end, that does not mean we're going to get a new movie right away or new anything right away. You're going to have to wait probably a good year to 2 years before you see anything new with the Friday the 13th IP on it get released. And that's just the way it's going to be, man. And it sucks. But, sometimes this business sucks, and you have to take it on the chin.
I'd say if there's any sort of good news to come out of this is the fact that there was a lot of rumors leading up to this appeal reinstatement that they were very close to a deal. Like, people were reporting right before this reinstatement that the deal was coming any day, and there was going to be a situation where both parties were going to be benefiting from the franchise moving forward. So, with everything like leading up to this statement, like looking positive, what Larry Zerner, who played Shelley in Friday the 13th Part 3, he said on Twitter, he said that there's a good chance that this appeal just means they need a little additional time to get the deal finished. And, these appeals, they have deadlines to reach, and then they have to go back in front of the court and yada, yada, yada. But if the rumors are true about, the deal being close, this could end soon. But all the same, those are basically just rumors right now, like anything else. The cold hard facts is that the appeal is in reinstatement, and we're stuck waiting. And it really sucks as a fan of the franchise and wanting so much more of it after all these years, because you're at a point where you're at a stalemate. There's nothing you could do as a fan, and there's nothing the creators could do as creators, and that's a really shitty spot to be in. But all you could do is wait and see.
Well, we're at the point now since the franchise's conception in 1980. We have gone the longest at this point in time between movie releases. Last release was 2009. We have gone 10 years. We have never gone 10 years without a Friday the 13th film before. The longest we went before then was 1993 to 2001, which was Jason Goes to Hell to Jason X. And yeah, I mean, even that felt like a long time. Not so much for me, or probably for us, because we were so young, back when Jason Goes to Hell came out. But I mean, 10 years. Crazy to think that the remake, it's been 10 years already. And God, when was Freddy versus Jason? That was 2003.
Yeah, something like that.
So I mean, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks as especially for someone like me who's just a massive fan of the franchise. But you know what? There's nothing we can do. We can sit here and bitch and complain all day that we're not getting a new Friday movie, and where's that going to get us? Just going to have to continue to enjoy what we have. Maybe even support some of these, fan films that are coming out, and a lot of them look pretty damn good. There's a lot of good fan films revolving around the characters coming out. So keep your eyes out for some of those. What's that one coming out? His name was Jason?
Yeah, you got His Name is Jason. Friday the 13th Vengeance is nearing completion and filming, I believe. And then there's Never Hike Alone that's already out. Plus a ton of them from back in the day, like the early 2000s had like this real cool influx of Friday the 13th and uh, I guess some mashup fan films. There's a bunch of stuff out there, and it just shows that there's a demand for it. So, in the meantime, take what you could get.
And I read something recently that Never Hike Alone may have a sequel coming out fairly soon.
Yes, I heard that too. They're working on a couple things from what I understand. So we need to check out some of these and maybe feature them on the show. Maybe do like a one-off review episode of a few fan films. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Never Hike Alone, and I mean, I didn't hate it. It just felt off to me, but I thought it was very well done for the most part. These people don't make money from these films. They legally can't. So, because they don't own it's all
for the passion.
Yeah, they legally can't because they don't own the rights to the names or the characters, so they can't make money off of these films. So it's all coming from love and passion, what these people are doing. So get out there, support some of these, indie filmmakers, and you might come across something you really, really like. So yeah, no news there, just more hoping and praying that they'll end this nonsense soon, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Don Mancini's Child Play TV series is coming next year, 2020. Do we have a more honed in date, or is it just
no? It was basically just a random fan asked when to expect it, because the remake's coming and there's been some quiet on that front. And finally, Don Mancini basically said TV series is happening in 2020. Nothing more, but it's still an update nonetheless. And more importantly, it shows that the financiers of this television series are still on board with it. I believe it's the Sci-Fi Channel that's going to be distributing it, and Nick Antikoska of Channel Zero fame, he's going to be helping, produce it and possibly write some stuff, direct, who knows. But the fact that we have a general vicinity of when this thing is going to be expected out, that's positive, I guess.
I got your teaser. I have your teaser for the show, and it'll make fans fucking cream themselves hard. Ready?
Go for it.
Okay. I don't even know what you need visually, but just audio-wise. Just Brad Dourif, maybe a slight laugh, or wait till the end to laugh, and all he's got to say is, "I'm not your fucking buddy," and then laugh. That's it. There's your teaser for the show. Fans go wild.
Oh man, I love it. I hate when you do this too, because whatever they actually churn out is not going to be what I want, but rather that.
Yeah, obviously sci-fi, so fucking it'll be bleeped out, but I think that's only going to enhance it. I think that's just going to make it funnier and just more brutal, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to tweet Sci-Fi Channel daily with your little pitch on the teaser.
That's it. They don't need anything more. They don't need to show us anything. You just need to hear Brad Dourif saying those words, "I'm not your fucking buddy," and that's it. That's it. That's all you need. And fans are going to just go nuts.
So attention, anybody that could do the Brad Dourif Chucky voice, get in contact with us. I want to make a sizzle teaser just so I could tweet them every day. Make it happen, people.
So 2020, which honestly, when you think about it, they're gonna come up before you know it. I mean, we're in fucking May already of 2019. So don't fret because it's a year away. Unless it's the back end of 2020, then that would kind of suck. But let's hope it's in the first half.
It is nice though that 2020, it seems, when you say 2020, it seems like it's so far away, but it is right around the corner. It is next year. I think the wait for Endgame really helps speed up that process of getting to 2020.
Yeah, I don't know. 2020, it just sounds far away. The year 2020. I mean, it just
Yeah,
sounds
you
so
know?
futuristic and shit. And it's just like, yeah, well, if it's anything like 2018, it's gonna fucking suck. And, but it's
Ain't
like
that the truth?
it just sounds far away. It's not. It's not when you look at the dates. But hopefully, we get the show in the first half of 2020 because we're gonna need something really soon to wash the bad taste out of our mouths. That is this fucking remake. But I'm not getting into that now. I don't feel like having my blood pressure go through the fucking roof with that nonsense movie. You can read my thoughts on Dead Entertainment, what I think about that fucking shit. Don't expect a review from me for that movie. I'm not watching that movie.
Yeah, by the looks of it, out of the entire slate of our writers, it looks like I'm going to be the guinea pig for that movie. So we'll see how that goes come June.
Let's make Michelle write the review.
She's already as bad as you as far as it goes.
I know.
And moreover, you're influencing her even more.
I know. I'm such a bad influence, and I'm starting to enjoy it, especially with her.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna be done with that task. But yeah, we'll see.
Moving on here. CWs. I hate that. Hate the CW. Remember when it was the WB? I like the WB, but WB just rolled off your tongue so much better. The WB, the CW, it just sounds stupid. I hate it. CW's.
Well then,
Lost Boys to be reworked before going to series. So I guess they had scripts lined up, and
they filmed the pilot.
I know they filmed the pilot, but you kind of worry about when you hear the word reworked. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Sometimes reworking could be good. I mean, if the pilot, suffered and the rest of the scripts are following a thread that is just not going to work, then you want that reworking. Or, on the flip side, a reworking means a studio head or a studio exec came in and he didn't like what he saw, so he wrote down what he wants changed and pushing his agenda onto the show. Or not agenda, but his wants and demands onto the show, which therefore requires a reworking. So it's 50-50 what this could mean for the show.
Well, according to Deadline, the scripts were very highly praised among the studio. They really, really liked how everything was laid out as far as the show went. There was a little bit of a change. It originally had this type of scenario where each season was going to take place within a different decade, and it would kind of tie in all the roots of what's happening in, I think, what was it, Santa Carla? I think the name of the town.
Yep.
And it was all going to tie in with the movie. But then as the pilot got closer and closer, it was said that the show was going to kind of retell the story of Lost Boys. So that was like red flag number one. But as far as the scripts went, from what I'm reading, everything was good. And the problems, I guess, they had with the pilot were casting. And there's a possibility that some of the people that were cast in certain roles might get replaced because, whether it be chemistry or a particular person's not working as well as they thought. It's all hearsay right this second. Nobody knows for sure exactly what the scenario was, but essentially what they're going to be doing is going back to basics. I think they're keeping the scripts and they're going to be just reworking certain pieces of the puzzle to try to make it work. I don't know if they're doing a full reshoot of the pilot or just taking out what doesn't work and trying it a different way.
Well, again, we can only go by what we're told. Obviously, nobody's seen any footage yet, and you gotta hope for the best, especially when you're talking about a franchise so beloved. At least the first movie was. I know the second movie wasn't that good, but I heard the third one actually kind of turned it around. I haven't seen the third one yet. Was that one called The Tribe?
I think The Tribe was the
Second one?
second one, and it was The Thirst or something. Was the third? I think the third had a lot of potential in it. If it had a little more budget, it'd probably be a little more acclaimed than it was. But I enjoyed all three of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen the third one yet. But you just hope when you hear the word reworked that it's reworked in a good way. Reworked is a scary word when it comes to a horror franchise that is beloved by, countless fans. It's scary. It's very scary. Almost as scary as the words remake or reboot. So, segue. See what I did there? Segue. Nice dissolve. Into because there's really not a whole lot more to talk about there. It's like it's cool that we're still getting news and updates about the show. It means the show's alive, but it's still little tidbits here, and I don't want to sit here and just fucking try to pick apart and dissect every little thing from almost I wouldn't say non-news, but a very slight news update. But on a completely different side of it, and moving forward here, Clive Barker's Hellraiser is apparently getting a remake. Listen. I don't know what to really feel about this. Now, I like Hellraiser. Okay. I like the first 3 Hellraisers. There's a lot more than 3. And we did already get a remake. Wasn't Hellraiser Judgment technically a remake?
No, that was just a rights grab, just to maintain rights. They could call it whatever it wants to be called, but in all honesty, that was just a hey, we're losing the rights, let's do something. It wasn't as bad as the one that came before it.
Revelations.
Where I believe they had an 11-day shoot or a 12-day shoot scheduled, and I think like 3 or 4 of those days got cut from what I remember reading. So it wasn't quite that bad, but it was bad enough.
Well, Judgment only had like a $350,000 budget, so yeah, take that.
Spending the big bucks right there.
Take that how you will. But yeah, so there's a lot to take in when diving into the Hellraiser world. There's a lot of backgrounds, a lot of lore. Especially if you happen to be familiar with Clive Barker's original writings, the Hellbound Heart and all that good stuff. And we recently together, rewatched the first Hellraiser movie and kind of fell in love with the series all over again just by watching that first film again together. And you realize just how overly entertaining and fascinating and visceral and just fun that first film is. And honestly, I feel that way about the second film and even to a lesser degree the third film. I think Hell on Earth is actually a really fun film. It's not a good film, not compared to the first 2, but Hell on Earth is actually a pretty fun film. And then you start getting into fucking insanity with the rest of them, which I can't suggest any. Don't do it. Don't. That's my warning to you. Don't see Bloodlines. Don't see Hellseeker. Don't see Inferno. Don't see Hellworld. I feel like I'm missing one because they're just bad fucking movies. but enjoy the first three because those, especially the first two, good stuff. Now, how exactly you tackle remaking the first Hellraiser movie, which, my opinion, pretty goddamn perfect. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one, because obviously you have to replace Pinhead. You got to replace Doug Bradley. I mean, maybe you don't, but you want to start fresh, so obviously you want a fresh face. You need the right writer. You
Well,
need.
they got a writer right now, and that's kind of one thing I wanted to get into. But
Oh,
before I do, um, I want to say, how do you feel about getting rid of Pinhead altogether? Because it was very imperative, not imperative. It was very evident. That's the word I'm looking for. Very evident that his role in the original Hellraiser movie was nothing. Like they built that character because of how unique he was, simply by repetition. Having him exist in each of the films. I dare I say the other Cenobites and what was happening with Frank was far more interesting to me than what Pinhead was doing in the first film. He's very iconic, but I think that this is one of the few exceptions that they could remake this movie without him at all. People will be pissed off. That's a definite. But I honestly think they could do it without him. Just a slew of Cenobites of new imaginations and new twisted fantasies. Make those characters unique to this particular film, and out with the old in with the new. Because I honestly don't think somebody else other than Doug Bradley is going to work as Pinhead. So, I mean, that's my suggestion. But real quick, the writer is David S. Goyer.
oh, that's right, David Goyer of Dark Knight fame.
Dark Knight, Dark City, Blade, Batman Begins, Demonic Toys, Godzilla, the new Terminator movie.
Which Godzilla?
The one that came out recently with Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he is quite the resume here that could give us a really good fucking Hellraiser movie.
So I'm not opposed to not having Pinhead in the movie. Now, as you said, Pinhead is a very iconic character. People recognize him, and but I don't think he's essential. At least in the very, very beginning, I don't think he's essential to the overall story that needs to be told. It's not like it's not like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where, you can't just take out Freddy. It's like, that's not happening. Can't do that. But Pinhead, I think you can remove Pinhead. Especially, actually, I think it would be more effective to remove Pinhead for the first film. You write it properly and hone in on certain aspects that the original did. Again, the whole Frank storyline. Fantastic storyline. It's great. Hone in on that. And then you tease Pinhead at the end. Bring him in the second film. Makes it way more effective. Makes you want Pinhead more. Because that's what fans want. Fans want Pinhead, So don't give it to them. Tease them. You're gonna piss them off, but sometimes pissed off fans spend more money. I don't know. It sounds like something Confucius would say, but in horror fandom, it works that way. Pissed off fans will spend more money.
What's the old saying? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think if they put him as kind of a background kind of like puppet master type of character, not puppet master the movie, but the guy that pulls the strings. Keep him in the background, and you know what you could do? Bring in Doug Bradley for those. Because he doesn't have to be the front and center character for everything. Let Cenobites run shop. Get nice young talent to play those really fucked up creatures. And then have him being the guy that pulls the strings. You bring in Doug Bradley for a 3-day shoot, all of his scenes in the movie are done. You're good to go. He doesn't have to wear extensive makeup for an entire 30-day shoot or anything like that. And with the lesser amount of screen time, you could stretch that out into an entire franchise worth of films. You could do a trilogy of that, and Doug Bradley would just be probably glad to do it as long as the source material is respected. So I think it could work. I think we're on to something as far as that goes.
Yeah, as you said, young, talented. Well, they don't even have to be talented, and they don't even have to be all that young. And hell, you want to save money on makeup? Bring in like the Kardashians, man. You don't even fucking need to do anything to fucking scare up them. That mutated family, man. Fuck. See, I'm trying to save the studio money here.
I'd say put money into the an up and coming creature effects shop and really, really let them go to town. And then just take people in and start forging a path with new Cenobites that are going to be seen in conventions for 20 years to come. And just have Pinhead pulling those strings, and I think it'll work.
There's a lot of different roads they can go down with this particular story. These characters, hopefully, they have Clive Barker involved, and they take a couple extra elements from Hellbound Heart and his original stories and lore, and put that in to this particular movie. They have to tread lightly because we have not had a good Hellraiser movie in, let's see,
a long time.
About 31 years.
Oh, is that all?
That's all. I mean, and I'm only counting Hellbound right now. I love, as I said, I love Hell on Earth, and that was 1992. But it's definitely not a universally loved Hellraiser film, which I don't understand why. It is a lot of fun. But in the interest of what the gen pop of horror fans consider good, we're going to go to 1988 there. That's 31 fucking years since the last good Hellraiser film. God damn.
Oh, boy.
That's insane that a franchise has lasted that long and hasn't had a good film in 31 years. The franchise is only 32 years old.
I wonder if the problem is them or us. No, it's definitely them.
No, it's them. It's them. But yeah, they could do it right. They have to take their time and make sure they have all their ducks in a row. I'm worried.
It sounds it.
I'm worried. But until a studio wants to bring me in to help fix franchises and reboots and remakes, I can only sit here in my studio in front of my webcam and my computer screens and bitch like every other fan in this world who has no power to do anything else. Well then, let's get in some comic and geek news here. UMG, you put a fucking claim on into this, I'm gonna fucking come after you guys.
I love that your mind is exactly where our mind was.
I'm not kidding. Look, listen to this. Our last episode, about a half an hour after I played that clip, that exact Avengers theme clip, it got fucking claimed by UMG. That little clip, that like 10-second clip. Fuck you, UMG. You know what? Go ahead, claim it. I'm gonna fight back. You know, I'm not letting you claim our shit, especially when you have no grounds to. If Marvel tried claiming it, obviously, or Disney, I wouldn't try fighting that. But fuck you, UMG. Now I'm mad.
So that was a little impromptu pressure rising there, but
Fucking
yeah,
assholes.
I didn't end up fighting that claim back because it really did nothing to us because we're not really monetized anyway. But I believe UMG is a Universal Music Group who puts out soundtracks, from what I understand, and there's a chance that that also might be within the realm of them being able to claim it. And furthermore, weirdly enough, this whole fair use clip thing is real shaky ground. Nobody's established any criteria for it, unfortunately. So hopefully we're able to continue uninterrupted. I think we're going to be fine. But Jesus, come on, we have a 5-second clip. Give us a
Yeah,
goddamn.
no, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It is definitely more than 5 seconds, but it is definitely not more than 15 seconds, which is fair use. Anyway, gotta claim it, you fuckers. Do it.
We're gonna put the full 6-minute version on there, motherfucker. Try it.
So Disney announces some changes to their release schedule. The next wave, the next trilogy of Star Wars films, 2022, 24,
Yep.
and
Take
26.
a little bit of a break there, like a 3-year break, I believe.
So that's cool. Gambit, yeah, that's gone. Don't expect to see that.
Sorry, Channing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if any of you were expecting to see that one, I guess smoke more of whatever you're smoking. I don't know. New Mutants, which been pulled for what, like 9? They got shelved for like 9-10 months, maybe more. Got shelved for a while.
Oh yeah.
Which in my opinion means, we ain't seeing that unless it gets just released on a digital platform and just forgoes a theatrical release.
That was what was rumored for a little bit, but the new date seems to be next April. But I'm wondering if they did that because the movie's actually good. And it's something that Disney was kind of negotiating, like, okay, we like New Mutants, and we might fit that into our universe, so hold off on it. Because, I mean, they bought it anyway. It's their property. So if they liked it enough, it maybe needs a little reworking as far as to fit into the MCU. That could be quite possible. With the hold up for Fox, who knows you can't really speak to their corporate heads or whatnot. But I think this is good news for New Mutants because we might see the New Mutants as part of the MCU as a result. That, or like you said, they're just gonna throw it on a streaming service. We'll see.
Yeah, we get it. We don't. No skin off my back there. And then there is Avatar.
Ooh, I can't wait. Just
kidding. Yeah. Apparently we're getting 4 more Avatar movies.
Who okayed this?
I don't know who. I get it. It is the most profitable movie of all time. I still don't understand why, but I guess people liked it. I mean, I've tried watching it. It is just weird and boring, and I guess there's 4 more movies worth of story to tell. I don't know. It's funny when that news got announced. I really didn't see like people being excited. I saw more like really indifference about it. It doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of people clamoring for more Avatar. I mean, I'm sure there is a big fan base somewhere. They're just not overly vocal from what I can tell. And when did the first one come out?
I don't even know. It's been that long.
I mean, it's got to be a decade.
At least. Let's see, 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Fucking spot on, decade. And yeah, 4 more Avatar movies. But listen, we've been hearing about an Avatar sequel for what, 5 years now. So I mean, again, not really going to hold my breath on that. Not that I care, but I don't know. I see a sequel eventually happening. 4 sequels? Yeah, not entirely sure about that one.
Yeah, the worst part is they're supposedly filming everything at the same time. So that is like I can understand doing another sequel to see if it could like catch lightning in the bottle once more, but to like front to bankroll 4 additional or 3 additional, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Um, like you said on Twitter, or just you just said about Twitter, the reactions that I came across were like pure snark. Like, oh, you guys are just getting around to that now. Like 10 years it took you to try to figure all this stuff out, and no one seems pumped. Like, and I really think it's just going to fall short.
You know, what's weird is that movie made 2.8 billion at the box office. I still don't get. I still look at that and I don't get it. Like when that movie came out, I don't remember it being like crazy hyped, and I don't remember anybody I knew like being like, "Yo, you gotta go see this movie," or "Yo, I saw this movie." You know, I don't know if I know anybody who saw it.
I didn't see it in the theater. I actually got it on Blu-ray. It was like, remember back when Best Buy used to have like their first week Blu-ray sales, and they
Yeah,
were real cheap. I was like, oh, like $15, sure, I'll take it. But I think the hype came from like the marketing, this new age of 3D. You know, like how the same sort of marketing that made Terminator 2 successful. Like your mind's gonna explode when you see the level of graphics in this movie. And I think the same thing was used in Avatar, and it's just like, yeah, like what's the gimmick next? Like what's gonna happen next year or whenever the hell they're coming out, and like what leg are they gonna have to stand on if 3D technology didn't advance in a crazy way that they marketed the first film at?
but it's like, all right. So your movie made 2.8 billion, but I think that was with 2 releases, right?
I
Didn't
believe so, but I
didn't
think
have a
that
re yeah, it had a re-release, I believe.
yeah, I think it was like a Christmas time re-release. But even then, made most of its money up front. Like the re-releases helped, obviously, but it it didn't. It made, I guess, the majority, like right out the gate. And like you said, I didn't have a lot of people in my circles really clamoring. Like it wasn't a global phenomenon in the people that I discuss with, kind of like Avengers Endgame was. Like everybody who was anybody was talking about that. I've seen old ladies talking about fucking Endgame. It's insane, but not so much Avatar.
I was just like, I don't understand. You have a movie that ends up making $2.8 billion and you don't fast track or actively work on a sequel. You wait a decade to where the hype is gone. Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I was actually going to say the same thing about Friday the 13th earlier. Like you had a successful Friday the 13th reboot. People dug it. People might not have liked certain aspects of it, but right afterwards, you guys churned out tons of scripts that would have worked with the right director or with the right tweaking to the script. And then you just sit on it for 10 years plus. Same thing said about Avatar, but James Cameron insisted on writing all 17 Avatar sequels at once for whatever reason.
Well, at least he got them done. Maybe. Can't say the same for George R.R. Martin, but we'll get to that later. So more news in the world of Marvel. We will be getting a Ghost Rider TV series and a Hellstrom TV show. Ghost Rider, it's going to be Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. Now, is it going to be the same Robbie Reyes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
This is where it gets a little weird. It's going to be the same actor, Gabriel Luna, who's also going to be in the new Terminator movie, too. So it was real smart that they cast him for his own show. It's going to be the same style Robbie Reyes. However, it is
It is what?
it's not going to be the same character. Like they're not connecting Agents of Shield to this new show at all. So it's going to stand on its own, not have Agents of Shield connections, and it's a little weird. And it's this weird thing in Hollywood where people kind of want to make it their own.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea, simply because that's just gonna fucking confuse people.
I don't think they're going to retread anything, but I also think they don't want to be tied down to any of the story that's already happened. I mean, the Agents of Shield Ghost Rider arc had a lot of crazy things go down, and if I recall correctly, um, spoilers, I think Coulson took the spirit for a little bit, and that's a lot of stuff that needs to be explained for a TV show. So what I think's happening is it might be the same character, but they're going to ignore the stuff that happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's what it's going to boil down to.
Mm, yeah, not entirely sure how I feel about that, but it's still cool to get more shows. I mean, I actually have a lot of shows I have to catch up on. I mean, I haven't watched The Runaways yet. I haven't watched Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, same here. I'm working on it though.
I'm never gonna watch The Inhumans, so we're gonna just ignore that one.
Don't. I made that mistake.
But I definitely want to check out The Runaways and Cloak and Dagger. I've heard pretty good things about them.
Same.
But yeah, more shows is always good. As for Hellstrom, that is not a character I am familiar with in the least.
Same. Not sure or any of that. I don't even know if it's going to be a live action or one of the animated.
Yeah, well, they're bringing in quite a few of animated shows in the next couple, I guess, year or two.
Speaking of which, did you hear that they're doing the What If animated series?
Yeah, with Peggy Carter.
Yeah, I'm so into that.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm interested to see a voice cast. Kind of curious who's going to voice her, because I don't think they've said anything about that yet. But you kind of hope that Haley Atwell gets that job.
Yeah, I really honestly don't think they would do it without her. I mean, especially given certain spoilers I'm not going to bring up.
But we'll see. That's news for another day when that breaks. So Avengers Endgame, now the second highest grossing movie of all time, and it only took 2 weeks in the box office to do so. Now it still has quite a way to go to break the all-time. We're still talking like 600,000. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone thinks it is, especially considering I believe Detective Pikachu drops this week. And that is going to put a dent into Avengers box office stake right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. But I think Avengers Endgame is going to have a far longer shelf life than Detective Pikachu. I think what's going to end up happening is people are going to take a break, go see the Pikachu movie because Ryan Reynolds and stuff, and then they're going to go back to watching Avengers Endgame. Like it is a massive beast that just keeps like charging forward. And also, there's rumors that they might actually re-release it in December. So there's also that to continue with momentum. But the fact that it's taken out Titanic, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but I think a lot of us knew it was just going to be mass. I didn't think 2 billion in 2 weeks, but um, yeah, it's overwhelming just how this movie has just taken over the film world right now, and and it's for good reason. There's a lot of good stuff going on in that movie, a lot of good performances, and I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Downey Jr. gets an Oscar nod, which would be insane, but it would not surprise me in the least. So I'm just gonna leave that here for now.
I really like that, but Marvel doesn't have the best track record. At least these MCU movies. Um, I ended up going to see it again, and it holds up quite a bit. Second time, I feel a little less discombobulated than the first time, and I think the emotional beats in the film kind of like hit me equally or harder on the second time through, and I was very pleased with it.
Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm gonna go see it a second time in theaters or just wait. Um, I don't know. We'll see. See how I feel about it. So more Marvel goodies the other day. A new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped, and this movie looks like it's going to be a really good cool down movie from everybody coming off the high that is Endgame. It looks like we're getting a bit more of a mature Peter, which only makes sense after the events of Endgame and what everything that has come to pass. Mysterio looks fantastic. Like they did some good things with his costume design and everything. And I mean, we've already seen it in full, but we got really good looks at it in this trailer, and it just yeah, it works. I'm there. I'm on board. Um, it looks like again we already knew this, but it looks like Nick Fury is going to have a pretty substantial role, which is awesome. Always love seeing him in these movies. And I think it's just going to be an all-around pretty fun movie. Don't know how much is going to allude to the future of the MCU, but again, I don't think that's really the point of this movie. I think it really is serving as a final cool down and the true epilogue and end to Phase 3. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to it. But I really do need a break at this point from MCU movies, man. It's been on a roller coaster the last 10 years. Give me a little break now.
More I think about it, the more I don't necessarily want to break. It's kind of I get where you're coming from, and I feel that way myself to some degree. But I also love the tradition of being able to go see one or two of these movies a year, even if they go back to basics where they kind of like start sequelizing some of the other movies. Obviously, we're getting Spider-Man: Homecoming or Far From Home, and then Doctor Strange, Black Panther too. Those are all on the horizon. So like, I'd like to have an era where we go back to the Thor Dark Worlds or Iron Man threes, and we get a little bit of those fun movies that keep it going. That's not as heavy as Infinity War and Endgame. That being said, this trailer looks exactly like that. There's so many great elements to it, and for a quote unquote cool down movie, there's some real epic shit happening here. And I think one of my favorite aspects of this trailer. By the way, if you are about ready to go check this trailer out, spoilers if you haven't seen Endgame, don't watch said trailer. I'm not going to spoil it, but the trailer will. That being said, I love that they are kind of opening up a multiverse. That's going to kind of like have a lot of potential to shoehorn in other characters that might not have been prominent in the first the Infinity Saga. We're going to be able to kind of reach over into different worlds and possibly take different versions of different characters and just have a nice sandbox. If Quentin Beck is not lying about being from a different world, that's one of the key things. But God, everything just looks so great in this thing. Mysterio has been a favorite of mine for years, and they literally pulled him off the comic book pages. It is such an incredible character design. The CG looks fantastic, and I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong. This thing looks amazing. It looks a lot of fun. And what is it, July coming out?
Yeah.
Can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Some of the things that they dropped in the trailer about multiverses and stuff was, definitely get some fans geeking out, especially the terms that they used.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be cool. It was nice to get that trailer. People still wanting more Marvel after seeing Endgame either 1, 2, 3, however many times you've seen it. They're pining for the next thing. So I think dropping the trailer now was pretty smart on Marvel's part. Keep that hype train going. So not typically something we discuss here, but we thought because of just how massive the show has become, and as we are both watchers of the show, we thought it would be appropriate for at least this week and possibly at the end of the series, which is 2 weeks away, actually a week and a half now.
Yep.
To discuss Game of Thrones a little bit. I'm sure we have a couple people here who Game of Thrones fans, and and it falls into that geek culture, and why not discuss it a little bit? This is the final season, thank Christ. At this point, I really think that the writers are struggling to keep this show afloat. I think they are pandering to fans and fan favorite characters. I think they have gotten extremely lazy, and the show is just suffering. Now, does it still have some fun, good elements? Yeah, of course. It's always going to have that. You're always going to have your favorite characters, and they're always going to have great scenes. But when you dig deep into some of the scenes, it's just either retreading or just not fleshed out enough. And this past week's episode 4, really felt like that. There was just a lot of poorly written scenes in this movie. And I've been seeing a lot of people feeling that way on social media. Especially with the scene between, Hound and Sansa. That was really kind of a disgusting scene if you read into it the way most people did. And we got the same scene twice between Tyrion and Varys. That was okay. And then just the stupidity of the show. I mean, are we gonna dive into spoilers here or what?
Hey guys, spoiler warning, go.
Okay. Biggest problem with episode 4. And let me just say before anything else, I hope everybody in this show dies. I want everybody to die. All right? That's how over I am with this show. But biggest problem with episode 4. Got Dany, on her dragon. Other dragon next to her, flying over the ocean back to Dragonstone. They're up in the air. They can see everything. They can see everything below and in front of them. Yet they somehow miss an armada of ships with gigantic ballistas firing dragon-killing spears at them. Somehow they just completely miss that. And then at that point, they make the dragons seem so weak. I mean, they're fucking fragile. That dragon went down in 15 seconds. Went down like a little bitch.
I mean, to be fair, those things were made for the task of killing dragons.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe dragons in their world are a little bit different than dragons like in every other world. Like when I think of dragons, I always think of like Lord of the Rings lore when it comes to dragons and just,
Mm.
dragon scales being harder than anything, it's just almost impenetrable to the point where, they use very similar spears like that in at least in The Hobbit. And it was to the point where you had to like loosen up a single scale before you could even like attempt to penetrate this armor of a dragon. And then you go to Game of Thrones and you're seeing zombies beating the shit out of a dragon, and a couple spears just taking a dragon out like it's fucking like they're bow hunting, like it's a fucking duck.
Yeah, I honestly think that there's like so many plates spinning right now that they're like thinking of where to take certain characters or beasts, and they're like, okay, well, we could just shoot one of those things at them without really sitting down and putting those. Well, aren't dragons tough? Don't they have scales that are impenetrable? Like, I think one thing that's like completely obvious is that without the guidance of George R. R. Martin's descriptive works, like they're just pushing the narrative forward. They're not really letting the food bake, so to speak. And as a result, we're getting many situations that you really have to suspend disbelief for. Now I'm on the opposite side of the argument with when it comes to what you're saying. Like I agree with some of the stuff, being lazy or not having the really that oomph that the earlier seasons had. But at this point, I think they're just trying to tie everything up and put a nice, neat bow on it for the sake of everything that all 8 seasons have been building toward. Does it make it right? Does it justify that some reservations are being taken, some corners are being cut? I don't know. It depends on how much you really like what you're watching. That's something I said to you earlier in the week when we were discussing. Like, I enjoy these characters significantly. I enjoy the journeys that they've been on. Do I wish that we had another few seasons to flesh out the ending? Absolutely. I think they wasted way too much time in the later seasons kind of keeping all these characters separated more and more just to like strengthen that impact once they all are finally together. But they're really misusing their time this season, it seems like. I remember before, during that long wait before the season came out, my brother and I were discussing the short season, 6 episode final season, and we're just like, shit, man, like, why aren't they doing 10? They have to really land this. And when you put it in perspective, 6-7 hours should be enough television to kind of hit it home. But here we are with 2 episodes left, and it's feeling like it's going to completely miss the friggin' pitch because right now we've got what 2 hours of show left, and it feels like nothing is about to be resolved.
No, I think it's closer to 3 hours.
Okay, so let's say 3, but it feels like we're gonna get a pedal to the floor ending. That or a bunch of dragons are gonna come in and destroy everybody. I don't know.
That's what I hope
like,
for.
Yeah.
John said in chat that the theory is that there's more dragons flying around, and I've heard that theory too, and there is some credence to that. But I want to get into theories for this show in a moment, and my problem with that.
Me too.
But I hope that happens. I hope like a fucking horde of dragons come in, just burns everything, and they fucking laugh, and the show ends, and then I'm happy. That would make me happy. But what we're gonna get, in my opinion, is this character is gonna kill that character, and then another character is gonna kill this other character, but then that character is gonna kill somebody else. You're just gonna get every big name character killing another big name character until there's like a fraction of those big name characters left. And
I think
and they're going to do it for
that,
shock value, and they're just going to, and it's going to be sloppy. It's going to be sloppy as fuck.
pause. I get the sloppiness, but I will say that that's what this show is founded on. You know, just complete shock value. And you know, I think if let's say Jon is forced to kill Daenerys because she's getting out of hand, would you not believe that that murder is earned with everything that's been done throughout with these characters? It's rushing. It's rushing to an end goal, but at the same time, with everything that every bad and good that each of these characters have done, I think it's earned.
Well, you know what? This season could have ended at the end of episode 4, but somebody was selfish and didn't want to do it herself. Missandei could have just, grabbed onto Cersei and leapt off the edge, taking her with her. That's it. Show over. No more war.
So cold stutter off.
Seriously, could have just an RK out of nowhere right off the keep.
Not bad. And she already had the shackles, man. It would have worked.
Oh my god, yeah. And she was what, 3 steps away? Like you could have yanked her, and you both. Hell, you could have probably even used her as like a landing pad and maybe survived. It was right there, and I was watching, and I was keeping up with like social media during that scene, and everyone's yelling. It's like, just fucking grab her and jump off, end it, let the show be over. Now,
and so real quick, I want to talk about that scene very fast. Can the dragons fly up in the air and go around the back, or are there invisible walls like in MMOs? Because that dragon could have just fucked off into the clouds where nobody would have seen it, and kind of like flanked them from the back and just blew fire. Like Missandei could have been a victim of war, victim of circumstances, but that dragon could have just roasted everybody on top, like flying full force to this fucking castle where they're standing. But for whatever reason, just decided to kind of chill and like play in the yard.
Well, I mean, the castle did have, the walls did have, a million, I think they're called scorpions. I call them fucking ballistas. They were just lined up all around, and they do rotate 360 degrees.
Okay, so you fly into the clouds, find center, and just kind of like swoosh down and go from the back. I think it could have worked, with the right speed.
Yeah, possibly. But that brings us back to, the theories now. Like with any big show, big movie, anything. Theories are very popular, and everybody has their own theories. I theorize on movies and shows. You theorize on movies and shows. Every fucking fan theorizes on movies and shows.
Yeah, of course.
This show has taken my appreciation for theories and ruined it. Ruined it hard.
God.
Every fucking day, when I'm just checking news up on like Yahoo or something, I'll see about 16 new Game of Thrones theory articles. And they're all terrible. And they all read the same way. Insert person is destined to be insert thing. And here is the proof. And every article goes that way. And it's just like, God damn, you people are fucking stretching and reaching and grasping at every possible straw here. Just fucking, there's 2 weeks left. Just let it come. Let it end. Then be done.
I thought you were going to get into the Tyrion is a secret Targaryen. And
oh my God! Don't even start me with I get it. There were little hints here and there that maybe he could be, but yeah. Can we not go there? I mean, if it happens, it happens. I'm not gonna sit here and fucking get mad about it, but like, I don't know. It's just getting insane with the amount of fucking theories going on. And I have to say that my overall problem with this show, and I was talking to a friend of mine on Twitter about this, And if anyone has ever read the books, or even you don't even have to read the books, just read up on the lore and the overall size of the planet, the world that they live in. It's Westeros is big, but then you have Essos, and Essos is absolutely massive. And then even south of Essos, you have Sutheros, and you actually have another continent, which there isn't really a whole lot of lore about, called Uthos. But when you look at all the areas and aspects of like Essos that was not explored in the least or mentioned at all, you feel like that the show really dropped the ball on bringing us to some fucking cool places. All to stay on this one continent for 3/4 of the show, and and just like a small area of this one continent too. I mean, dude, go look up a map of the Game of Thrones world, and you will be amazed at how massive just Essos is. It's insane. And then you go read up the lore on like Sutheros, and it's just like I want to see that place. That place just sounds fucking horrifically scary, man. Like I want to go there. Or places like where Melisandre came from, Asahi, or Ashai. I don't know how you say it, but that's like on the eastmost part of Essos, and it just sounds like a really cool place to have visited. And I think it got mentioned like 3 times in the show, and that was it. So it's just they just dropped the ball on a massive world that they could have explored, and they didn't.
I honestly think that it's it's a great idea that they have a world so big that you're only hearing about through story from these characters, but you gotta kind of understand that, and I know you do, but you gotta kind of like take into consideration that you're following a handful of people in a giant world, and you can only do so much with exploring them. I think what's gonna ultimately help your you know fascination of these areas and the desire to kind of see different stories is the spin-offs that are supposedly being made. I know one excuse me, I know 2 are definitely being made, and they just recently George R. R. Martin just recently announced that there's 3 spin-offs total being made after this one completes. um I'm not sure if that's something you're going to be interested in continuing with after the fact, but personally I think it's a great idea to take these areas of the world that haven't been explored yet without any sort of content weighing it down. Like people are always going to compare it to the books. People are always going to like search through every little detail with a fine tooth comb. I think it's great to take an original story and place them into these areas of the world. And that's where you're going to see everything truly blossom of these places that he's created, or at least these maps that you've seen, and kind of wanted to visit.
I heard about the one spin-off, and it's supposed to be the Tales of Dunk and Egg, um, which I don't know. Like, I don't know how interested I am in these spin-offs. At this point, it's just like I want the next book, and it's just something different. And I don't know. I don't think we're gonna really get it from these spin-offs. And I don't know if they're even going to do as well, because obviously they're not going to be featuring characters that fans love and are invested in. So,
Yeah, it's always a crapshoot, but I look at the stuff that Star Wars is doing going forward, like things like The Mandalorian, them possibly doing an Old Republic television show. Like all this stuff helps the world building. And in a world that was built by one of the best at world building. I think there's some there's a chance that these things might have strong legs to stand on. But you make a good point about the characters and actors. With a clean slate, you're only going to pick up so many of the people that followed this one for 8 seasons. So, I mean, we gotta wait and see how everything works out, like everything.
Yeah, as long as they make the episodes bright enough to fucking see, I'm sure they'll do okay.
So before we wrap this up, I know you said you want everybody to die, but I think that's a bullshit answer. Give me your choice for who you want to see on the throne.
I don't want to see anyone on the throne. Throne is just such a meaningless, ruler of the Seven Kings. Such a meaningless title when you look at like how many kings have we gone through since this series started? Robert Baratheon, and you got Joffrey, you got Tommen, now you got Cersei, and Varys. I think Varys has served like 7 or 8 different kings in his lifetime. It's just it's such a pointless fucking title at this point. But if I had to see any one person survive, it would just be Davos. It's the only person I actually really still like.
I like Davos.
And the Hound is pretty just fucking brutal. So, I dig him too.
I told my brother on Sunday that I want to grow up to be like Tormund or the Hound. Those two, that's what I'm striving to be once I grow up one of these days. As far as the throne, I honestly want to see Tyrion on it. And I want his first order of business to get rid of it, get rid of the monarch and start a new age, because it's obvious that this fucking stupid iron chair is doing nothing but creating wars. And it dare I say, it's kind of a mirror reflection at, society in general. And, that order needs to be taken out before true progression could actually move forward. So I would like to see Tyrion survive. I think it looks like he might have a little bit of a thing with Sansa sparking. That wouldn't be a bad thing. And let's fucking destroy the order, whether it be punk rock style or in a calm, orderly fashion.
Yeah, because it definitely looks like they're going the Mad Queen route, and it's just lazy writing. They could have turned her into a villain, but not have her be a spitting image of her father. But yeah, I don't think we're getting that. And before we wrap this up, who was the person from the show? I don't know if it was the cinematographer or the editor who was bitching at people complaining about the episode 3 being dark.
I believe it was the cinematographer, and I didn't really take it as bitching. I think it was obviously people were very, very critical about him. When I seen that episode, that was the first person I pointed blame at. But there is a lot of articles out there pointing fingers in different directions. I'm talking compression, television show compression people, television makers, cinematographers being blamed. Nobody seems to be the one to step up and take the blame for it, but it also could be a slew of, or a combination of all of those things as to why that thing was not so great. I will say that I watched that episode twice, because most of the episode just felt like shadows moving in front of the screen on my television. I've got a 55-inch television, real decent LG, and it was frustrating watching that episode. Then I watched it on my monitor, my 15-inch monitor here. I don't even know what brand it is, but it was a different experience altogether. The blacks were truly dark, and it just had a much more arty style than it did when I watched it live. So there could be some merit in your piece of hardware being the issue.
Okay. My issue my issues with the person who said this. And he put out this blanket statement that said, anyone saying the episode was dark don't know how to tune their TVs. Motherfucker. I've watched countless movies, TV shows, sporting events on all the TVs in my house. Guess what? Never had to tune it again. You want to know why? Because I can see everything that's happening. So you're going to sit here and try to tell me that I don't know how to tune my TV because your one episode of this one show is coming in like shit. So it's my fault. It's not your fault. You don't want to take blame for fucking up something, but it's my fault and everybody else's fault. Like, that is some hardcore projecting when you know that you fucked up. All right?
Does he, though? Like, honestly, like, first off, this blanket statement that was released in text, and you're assuming that it was said with this big asshole attitude.
Oh, yes, that's exactly how I'm reading it.
Yeah,
because that's just how I read everything.
That's how the internet reads everything, okay? This guy could have been like, oh, they just don't know how to turn their TVs, or just like very nonchalant joke or whatnot. But even so, I think he has the right to at least bust balls, because the entirety of everybody that watched that episode was like, cinematographer, it's your fault, fuck you. Like, they all pointed the finger at him right off the bat. I'm guilty of it. When it could have been many different factors. Maybe not TV tuning, maybe HBO's compression and all the other things I listed. There is definitely something amiss. And I've noticed it because I watched it on two different pieces of hardware, and I noticed the difference. So I don't know if he's exactly to blame when it could be something else.
Yeah, it's something else. It's him. It's him. He doesn't want to take fucking responsibility for his fuck up. I get it. You know, it's something everybody loves. You don't want to admit that you fucked it up because everyone's going to be mad at you. Guess what? Everyone's already fucking mad at you, especially after that statement, asshole. Fuck you. Don't do it again.
I guess I'm better at tuning my Asus monitor than I am my TV. What can I say?
Well, we got 2 episodes left. About 3 hours worth of show. They have a lot to cover. Going to be a lot of deaths. I don't know what the end of this show is going to be. I think they're going to throw everyone for a loop. And because I don't think it's following the books or what, Martin told them. I believe Martin told them how his books are going to end. And I don't think we're going to get anything like that. So I think you're going to get some fan favorites making it out alive. And I don't know. I know I'm not going to be happy with the way the show ends. But I haven't been happy with the show in the last 2 seasons. So I'm trying to go into it as neutral as possible. But, especially after last episode, it's just... I'm just seeing all of these hiccups in the writing process, and it's upsetting for someone like me who enjoys writing and good storytelling, and I'm not seeing it right now. But again, about 3 hours left. They could turn it around. It is not going to be easy, especially with the way the writing has been so far. But anything is possible. So I guess we'll revisit this in 2 weeks when the show ends, and you can hear me bitch about how I didn't like the ending.
You and the rest of the fucking world. Is there a show that people were just completely content with the ending? Maybe Breaking Bad? I think it might have been Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I would say Breaking Bad. I think a lot of people like the ending of Breaking Bad. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending of Sopranos.
I loved it. And speaking of which, have you seen the pictures? I'm not going to get too much into it, but did you see the pictures of the movie they're doing?
I don't care. I don't watch the show.
Oh, you weren't into it?
No, I liked Boardwalk Empire. I like the ending of Boardwalk Empire.
No spoilers, because that is on my agenda real soon. But I'm digging the pictures from the of little Tony Soprano. Friggin' they got his son playing him. Genius.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. But that is neither here nor there. But I think that's actually going to go ahead and wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you guys so much hanging out with us on episode 60. Covered some fun stuff tonight. We will be back, I would say, next week. But with how busy I am lately with all the baby stuff, I got the baby on the way in like 4 weeks. So, I got to play each week by ear. But, for the most part, we got most of the baby stuff done. Now it's just doctor's appointments and all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Much appreciated. Make sure if you haven't, subscribed, you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And make sure you follow us over on Twitter as well. You can follow myself at Bates_MotelMT and at Ray Mungus. And you can follow Dead Entertainment at Dead End Site. You can also like us on Facebook, facebook.com/deadentertainment. Trying to think, we got anything else to plug? We have anything fun coming up? I don't even know.
I don't know. We are kicking around the idea of another live commentary this month just to kind of get ahead of the baby situation that's going. But we got to play it by ear. We got to see what we're going to do. I know the movie's going to be fun.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to reveal the movie sometime soon, but
no, next week. Well, yeah. So I've already picked out the next movie. I decided we're going to stray away from our standard 70s exploitation and grindhouse flicks for a little while. We need a break after the last couple. Not really, but
we never need a break.
Yeah, no, I could watch them all. I watch them. I could watch them all day, every day. But the next one is a bit more of a recent flick, and it's a lot of fun. I haven't watched it in a couple years, but it is one of my favorites. And it's gonna have subtitles built right in.
Ooh. I'm really excited to watch it because the last time I watched it was with you at your old house back when you were living with your parents many moons ago. And it's been one of those movies that I've been saying I got to pick that up on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't even know if it's on Blu-ray, but I've always said I need to pick it up on DVD, and I just never got around to it, and I'm so excited to watch it again.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really fun movie. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely join us for this one. Definitely come watch it with us. I'll give you just a hint of what it is. Won't tell you what it is until next week, but it is a zombie film, and it is a really fun zombie film.
You gonna tell them where it's from?
No.
Okay, we'll keep our mouth shut on that.
Nope. Next week, we will reveal the next live commentary movie, and we are aiming for the end of the month. Because we didn't do one in March, I figured doing one in the beginning of April, and at since we didn't do one in April, doing one in the beginning of May and the end of May kind of will make up for that. So, yeah. So thank you guys. You got anything else to plug before I wrap up here?
Check out the website right now because there's like 9 articles going up tonight for tomorrow. They're actually all up right now, so get a head start, get reading. We have some really cool news dropping today. So yeah, check that shit out, deadentertainment.com.
All right, there you go. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for hanging out. Also, try to share out, our channel and the podcast and stuff. Let's try to get some more people in here every week. Because we want to try to make the chat and fan interaction a part of the show moving forward, especially with all these new subscribers. So, we're hoping to get more people in and joining us live to make that a bit more part of the podcast. Podcasts are always so linear in terms of, you're talking about the subjects at hand and that's it. So we kind of really want to bring in, our fans and supporters into the podcast and make them a part of it too. We feel, we owe it to them who, the reason why we do this. So,
Yeah, the last couple episodes had quite a bit of people hanging out, which was awesome. And it also helps derail us a little bit. I mean, we don't need help derailing because we always derail on something. But I will say, you guys bring up some really cool fucking points. Like, there's always something in the chat that makes us go, "Oh, well, that's something we didn't quite think of," or "Fuck, that's exactly what I was going to say." You know, like it adds another element to the whole linear news process and shit. If it gets good enough, we could just pretty much throw out topics altogether and just free for all it because we're good at that too.
Yeah, so yeah, just something to keep in mind. So, if we grow a bit more and have more people, listening live to us, it's just something we want to do in the future. But, we need people in here and commenting and yelling at us and telling us we're wrong. So we need we need that.
We'll take everybody.
But thank you guys so much. We will see everybody next week. And remember,
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.